Hi, Steve Walker here at Promise Money. Now, are you mortgage ready? If you're thinking of taking out a mortgage at any time in the next 6 months, are you ready? Don't wait until you find the property and think, right, now I need to do something about it. Start thinking about it now. I'll tell you what I mean by mortgage ready. There's the obvious things. Firstly, of course, have you got a deposit? And that's going to affect which product you go for and whether it's cash you've saved up and gifted deposits. So there's probably not an awful lot that you can do about that. Your income, you need to show the most amount of income that you can. So if you're self-employed, is this the year where you need to declare a nice big bonus or take a big dividend to get your income as high as you possibly can? That's relevant. If you're about to change jobs, then think about when you're going to be changing jobs, whether you're on probation, and how long it's going to be before you apply for a mortgage, because lenders like to see stability. So if you're going to a totally new sector and then you apply for a mortgage the next month, there's a few lenders are going to be looking at that very, very closely. Not a good idea. Credit scores. Now, a lot of lenders don't use credit scores. The high streets tend to, and that's where some of the best rates are available, but not necessarily just the best deals, because they make their life easy using credit score. But can you improve your credit score? So are you on the electoral roll? Have you got your free credit search and gone through it to make sure there's no mistakes? Have you looked at any credit that you've got that's outstanding and shouldn't be? For instance, you might have some missed payments on something, you might have some defaults, you might have some old county court judgments. Get them satisfied, get rid of them. Have you got overdrawn outside the allowed allowances that you've got on your credit card? Get all of that up to date. Do you need to use more credit? Because you know what, if you don't use credit, that can give you a bad credit score. So you need to be using a certain amount of credit to show that you're actually in the game and you're using credit. That helps, but don't have too much. Don't go over the limit and don't have a right load of it. So, and if you've got a little bit of bad credit historically, do you need to use some sort of credit card, one of these prepaid credit cards to start building up your profile? So think about your credit. But remember, not every lender credit scores, so it's not the be all and end all. Now, what about your income and your affordability? Okay, well, the lenders are going to use, in some cases, what's called ONS stats. That's the national statistics to say, if you are a married couple with 3 kids, you ought to have outgoings of this. But what they're also going to look at is what it says on your bank statements, what your actual outgoings are. So when you talk to an advisor, the advisor's going to say to you, right, tell us what your outgoings are, because if your income's here and your outgoings are here, that's all you've got to play with. But if you can get your outgoings lower, you've got more to play with to support the mortgage. So if you're thinking of getting a mortgage in the next 3 or 4 months, try and cut out all the luxury spending, because on your bank statements it's going to show. So don't go crazy bonkers, go into the flash supermarkets and buy yourself scallops and all sorts of wonderful things. Do the basics. Get your spending down for 3 months on your bank statements. That's going to give you more disposable income, more to go towards your mortgage. It's all going to help. Now, what if you've been declined elsewhere? Surveys say that between 17 and 25% of people, if they've been declined by one lender, think they're not going to get a mortgage. That's wrong, because there are specialist lenders out there which can handle bad credit, can do an income stretch, can do things that the high street lenders, the people that you're probably automatically going to go to, will do things that they simply won't. So just because you've been declined, it doesn't mean you can't get a mortgage. So the thing to do is get a copy of your credit search. And I mentioned that earlier on in terms of your credit score. It's not about your credit score only, it's about your credit search. And there are credit searches out there which don't just give you a number at the top, they will give you every single account that you've got, and you can go through it and check it all and say, right, is that right? Is that right? Do I need to alter that? Do I need to get something satisfied? And these are free. There's one that we recommend to a lot of our clients, which actually gives you a search from 3 or 4 of the major search providers, because believe it or not, one company might say this loan is up to date, and another one might say, well, you've missed the last 2 months payments, and there can be errors there. So you need to see something that shows you all of these. If you're interested, by the way, go into our profile around this video, and there's a link there which will take you to a page, and there you can get hold of one of these free credit searches, and it'll tell you all the information about that. Worth looking at. Anyway, back to the point. Get yourself mortgage ready. prepare in advance, get your income looking right, get your deposit all sorted out, get your credit profile looking as good as it possibly can, get your outgoings as low as you possibly can, so that when a lender looks at your bank statements, they can see that your outgoings are low, and you can justify more disposable income, which gets you a bigger mortgage. Now, the caveat to that is you don't want to be doing anything that's falsifying your situation, because that could mean that subsequently the mortgage is unaffordable. But similarly, you've got to present something which is sensible, and sometimes lenders need a help in seeing what the truth is, because they don't always see it that way. So if you're thinking of getting a mortgage 6 months down the road, talk to an advisor now, have a chat to them about your circumstances now, and they'll be able to give you a bit of help on what you need to do to get yourself mortgage ready. It's not as simple as just applying on the day you suddenly decide you want to buy that house. Think ahead, it can save you money, and it can mean you get into the property that you want. Hope you found that useful. See you again soon. Bye-bye.